Today we are boarding the Celebrity Apex cruise ship, and I'm going to take you on a tour of an infinite veranda stateroom. Ours happens to be number 147 on the 11th deck. These are rather infamous. They get a lot of hate, and I don't understand why. Take a look as you walk in this stateroom. To me, this is amazing. The first thing that you see, your eyes are drawn straight to that window, an entire wall of windows. It is what I've always dreamed of in a stateroom. So offhand, I absolutely love it, but let's take a closer look around the room. First of all, where are we on the cruise ship? This is about halfway between the fore and aft stairways, so it's pretty convenient to get to either the theater or the restaurants. And then when you come back to the room, you can adjust the temperature and lighting controls right here at the entranceway. One thing the entranceway doesn't have, though, is a hook for coats or hats, which would have been really convenient. A previous passenger left some magnetic hooks there, and I appreciated that. You might want to consider bringing your own. Across from the bed, there is a large TV. If reading, however, is more your thing, I did find that the lighting was a little insufficient. These lights next to the bed are very yellow, is always very dim. There's also a lack of electrical outlets. The only charging port we had was on the phone there, a USB slot, which charged my phone very, very slowly. The other side of the bed did have some outlets and USB chargers, but a much smaller nightstand. So if you're traveling with a CPAP or whatnot, it's going to be a little harder to manage on this side of the bed. But you do have the lighting controls that control the overhead lights. Now, usually I will book staterooms that have the beds by the windows. However, I prefer this layout with the sofa near the window. It makes the room seem so much more open. I'm filming this a little bit later, but I wanted to show you could pull this chair over to the sofa, make a nice little conversation area. This table will push in so you can actually access a full-length mirror if you want to see yourself getting dressed. There is another full-length mirror in the closet. This mirror is lit though, and you can turn it on and off with the push of a button here on the side. There is also the charging area here on the desk. You do want to be a little careful if your plugs face off on the side. It might be a little harder to plug things in. Now, this was a concierge class stateroom. It comes with a couple of extra benefits, not a whole lot, some of which were like a bottle of champagne. The one you see on the desk there, however, came from our travel agent. If you want to get the champagne amenity that you're entitled to, you actually have to ask for it, which I found a little bit awkward, so we actually never did, and missed out on that completely. You also get some things like canapes delivered to your stateroom every day. If you have your privacy sign on the door, however, they will skip you, and sometimes they get delivered early in the day, and if you're out, they could be sitting there for hours. It just didn't seem safe for us to eat them, and we didn't eat any of them. I really did like all the drawers that they had in the room, especially since there never seems to be enough hangers, so it was great to have places to put your clothing. This little table off on the side can actually flip over and act as a little footstool or maybe an extra seat. However, our stateroom attendant was using it to store the minibar supplies, and at the end of the cruise it was actually filled with the linens for the next one, so we didn't get a lot of chance to use it for our own storage. And here we come to the best part of the room in my opinion, and this is what some people don't like. I just don't understand it. You have this beautiful, huge window, and with the press of a button, you can lower or raise that window to make it a balcony. This little button here on the bottom will actually control the lighting above it, and the controls on the walls will open and close the windows. You do have these dividing panels that unfortunately you can't see through, but will close off the balcony if you want to keep that segregated. You do need to keep the balcony window closed if you want the air conditioning to keep running. Now, fortunately, the weather during our travel days was fantastic, so we left the window down for a lot of the trip, and we weren't that affected. Also, one thing to note here on the 11th floor, there is that overhang that you see from the floor above, which really limits your sky view. I would have preferred a lower deck so that wasn't in our frame of view. However, if it were hot, that would be great to keep the sun out of your room, to help you want to keep that window down. But you can see how long it takes to put up and down. That's probably for safety. You also have sensors at the top and the bottom of the window that will automatically stop it if a hand gets in the way, so you don't have to worry about anything getting crushed unintended. And then you can, with a press of a button, lower the curtains as well. So I don't know why they didn't put these more on the inside so we could have had those clear glass doors, but it is what it is. Now, if you're one of those people that needs the room really dark to fall asleep, these shades are for you. Lower those with that touch of the button, turn off the lights, and the room is heavenly dark. Now let's go ahead and check out the closets, but before we do, take a look at the finishes in this room. Everything seems so modern and beautiful. I love the little niche here in the corner with the coral all lit up. I will say they went a little overboard throughout the ship with the artwork, but I love it. Here inside the closet, you do have that other full-length mirror, a couple of robes that might be just for concierge class, I'm not sure. There is an assortment of hangers, of course never enough, a couple of umbrellas, and here in the safe, you've got this tiny little tray, big enough for some wallets and passports, not big enough for a laptop, unfortunately, because who of us doesn't need to travel with, say, our work computer, just in case we have to answer some emails from the solarium. Because we were traveling over Christmas week, we actually moved this coral into the bathroom shelving and put a little Christmas tree there. You could decorate as you see fit. We actually put some decor on the outside of the cabin door as well using magnets. It seemed like most people on our floor did, and it felt very communal and festive. Here inside the cabinets, you can see they use every inch of space to give us a little bit extra storage. There are some binoculars here, again for concierge level passengers, a laundry bag, an ice bucket. All of this we stashed elsewhere so we could fill all of that with our clothing. Take a listen to this. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but I would have vastly preferred a normal door handle. The magnetic latch on that was very loud and disturbing. You were always trying to very gently close the door to not disturb your traveling companion. Now, did you see the other problem in this bathroom? We'll come back to that in a moment, but first take a look at these beautiful finishes. Ignore my bag of toiletries there. I didn't realize it was stashed there as I was filming. Got a couple of towels, always out of reach from the shower, which was unfortunate. There is this drawer underneath this massive sink that we didn't notice at first. The drawer, that is. The sink was clearly a problem from the beginning. It is so big it takes up most of the counter space and it's completely useless. There's no need for such a massive sink. However, I do appreciate the massive shower. Now, we have been on so many cruises on various lines. This is one of the best shower experiences I've had on a cruise. There was always wonderful water pressure. It was easy to adjust the temperatures. There was that rack that you could easily put a bar of soap if you wanted to. The shower had a couple of different settings that could control the water, but most of all, look at the space here. Now, I am not a small man. As you can see here, I could easily bend over within the shower enclosure. They really did a nice job overall with that shower. And just the entire glass instead of shower curtains made it seem just so much more modern, just like the entire cruise ship and the room. So again, I don't know why people don't appreciate these rooms as much. We're the type of travelers that like to spend a lot of time in the room, and just the way this room feels so open is fantastic. I don't want to travel in anything less than an infinite veranda going forward, but let me know in the comments below what you think. And be sure to subscribe if you want to see more travel vlogs, hotel room reviews, and more. Till next time, take care and happy travels.